You know right now is that Al Franken, the Democratic senator from Minnesota, has been accused of sexual harassment on the record. This is from a woman who was a local radio host in California. And first, let me just walk through what the allegations are that she is making, and then I'll let you know what Franken has had to say just this morning in response to these allegations. Again, Leanne Tweeden, that is the name of the woman who is making these fresh allegations. She talks about an incident that happened back in December of 2006. She says that she took a trip to the Middle East to visit U.S. troops, and along with some musical artists was Al Franken, who at the time, of course, was a comedian. So she was on this trip along with Senator Franken, who at the time, again, was not a senator. As a part of this trip to visit the troops, they were performing a number of plays, and some of the scripts were written by Senator Franken. This is according to this woman. She says that these scripts, many of them were heavy on sexual innuendo, and one of the scripts actually involved the character that Franken was supposed to play kissing this woman, Miss Tweeden. Now, when they were backstage, she says that he wanted to rehearse the part where the two were supposed to kiss. She was insistent and told him that she did not want to do this, but he continued to pursue wanting to kiss her and practice kissing her. And at some point, she just relented and said, okay. And I just want to read part of what she wrote to describe what came next. She says, quote, "He came at me, put his hand on the back of my head, mashed his lips against mine, and aggressively stuck his tongue in my mouth." And she says that she felt disgusted and violated afterwards. And she also notes that nobody saw this happen. Now, this is not all of the story that she describes in this written account that just posted this morning. She says that on the way back to Los Angeles, as they were flying back to the U.S., there was another incident in which Tweeden actually fell asleep. She only discovered after she got back to the U.S. that there was a photo taken of Senator Franken, again, who was not a senator at the time, groping her. And this photo is actually posted online as well. Now, I do want to read a statement that we got from Senator Franken just a few minutes ago. Here's what he said, quote, "I certainly don't remember the rehearsal for the skit in the same way, but I send my sincerest apologies to Leanne. As to the photo, it was clearly intended to be funny, but wasn't."
Robert Zimmerman is a Democratic National Committeeman, and he joins us tonight. Mr. Zimmerman, thanks for coming on.
Good to be with you, Tucker.
Before I ask you about Maxine Waters, the future of your party, let me ask you about news we have from Capitol Hill tonight. So Glenn Simpson, who runs Fusion GPS, he's the former reporter who commissioned the dossier that undergirds a lot of this Russia investigation, spent 7 hours talking to House investigators yesterday and conceded, apparently, we're reporting during that testimony, that the dossier was comprised of rumors that he never really checked out. He never traced them to their sources. He never traveled to Russia. They were just things that he heard and threw them in the dossier, which was then disseminated throughout the media and the Democratic Party, often the same thing, and became the basis for the insanity of the last year. Does that bother you, that rumors are the core of this?
Well, actually, Tucker, what bothers me is your partisan spin, because the reality is, according to the Washington Post fact checker, the only one who printed any information from the dossier before the election was Mother Jones. The other media, of course, and it's the media's job to check out these reports. So the reality here is, I mean, the right wing is trying to spin that Russia was trying to help Hillary. Let me finish my point, Tucker.
Wait a second.
Hold on a second.
Let me correct a factual error.
Let me bring up some facts.
And I don't mean in any way to contradict the Washington Post fine reporting, but didn't BuzzFeed run the entire thing?
Not before the election. Dossier? Not according to the Washington Post fact checker.
I'm not saying before or after the election. I'm not talking about the Washington Post so-called fact checkers. I'm just, as a factual matter, as a news reader, I believe I read the whole thing presented as news in BuzzFeed, and then in virtually every other publication in America.
No matter how you want to spin the facts, the reality is nothing was printed according to the Washington Post fact checker by the media before the election, except in Mother Jones. But here's the point: it's up to the media to do. Excuse me, it's up to the media
to evaluate. I'm not saying. Hold on. I'm not saying Trump lost the popular vote because of the dossier. I'm saying that we have a Russia investigation ongoing for the last year,
right?
And that the FBI took this dossier. They may have actually paid the source of the dossier. We don't know for sure. We're going to find out. But
that's
we know that
false rumor to spread. Maybe you should know it before you tell everybody that perhaps it's a possibility.
No, that's actually been reported. I don't know if it's true or not. And
I'm trying to be as honest as I can be.
Here's the truth, Robert. Slow down a little bit.
I'm fine.
We know for a fact that the dossier is one of the reasons there was a Justice Department investigation into Russia's meddling in the election in the first place. And so I'm asking you a factual question. So put aside your lunatic hat for a second and answer me straight. Does it bother you that the guy who wrote the dossier didn't check out any of the so-called facts in there?
We don't know what you're reporting is accurate. We do know that
Bob Mueller... He said on the Hill yesterday.
Excuse me. We do know that Bob Mueller, who is a war hero, a Republican, and was appointed by the Deputy Attorney General to conduct this investigation, is running a very thorough and fair investigation, and the Republican leadership in Congress is conducting an investigation based upon the facts. So I think before you start spinning your rumors and theories, I think we should let it be to the professionals to do the evaluations.
Slow down. This is information derived from the investigation you just referred to. Listen carefully. This is coming off the Hill yesterday. Glenn Simpson, head of this company, sat for 7 hours, and this is what he said. The investigation to which you just favorably referred produced this set of facts, and I'm for the 5th time trying to get your response to this set of facts. And are you going to respond or not?
I'm not going to respond to your theories and gossip.
It's not a theory. That's what he said.
I'm going to simply leave the investigation to the professionals,
but this
both the Republican leadership in Congress and the special counsel.
I don't know if this is your native language. Let me speak slowly. This is the investigation. This is what we just learned, and I'm hitting you with new facts that come from congressional investigators, Republican and Democrat, and I want to know if you think it's okay that this stuff turned out to be unverified crap. That's what they just found in the investigation you're lauding.
Tucker, I'll try to use smaller words for you. The bottom line here is you're repeating news reports that are not substantiated, and you, as opposed to letting the investigators make the reports and let Congress do their investigation.
Wow. Okay, we're off in performance art now. Okay, let me ask you a political question. Maybe you'll do better with that.
Maybe you'll use some facts this time.
Maybe you will. I'm starting to have my doubts. Do you think that it is wise politics, apart from wise policy? Is it good for the Democratic Party, which seems to be ascendant, did really well in those elections last week in Virginia and New Jersey, to lead with impeachment? The last time a party tried this was, of course, the Republican Party in '99. They impeached the president in '98, and in that midterm elections, they got pounded for doing it. Do you think it's smart for Democrats to have as their publicist, Maxine Waters, running around talking about impeachment? Is that a wise thing? Are you happy about that?
Let me just correct you on a fact, Tucker. The last time the Republican Party led with this was when Republican members of Congress advocated impeaching President Obama over his birth certificate. And many Republican members of Congress did that. You don't have the Democratic Party leading with impeachment.
Well, no, which Republican member said he ought to be impeached over his birth
Congressman
certificate?
Blake Farenthold did.
He said he ought to be impeached because of his birth certificate?
Did. It's called fact-checking, Tucker. I'm glad I
One out of 435. I don't even remember. Was there another one? You said there was more than one.
Do I have to give you an exercise on how to use Google? You can easily check the facts on your own. Hopefully your viewers will, too, and not accept your spin.
I mean, that's just too stupid.
But the point is, Maxine Waters is not leading the Democratic Party in this issue.
Really? Because articles of impeachment were filed today in the House. Are you aware of that? Are you paying attention?
I'm well aware of it, but that does not represent the advocacy of the Democratic leadership.
But what do you think of it? How's this? Here's my question. What do you think of it?
What it does tell me is that the Republican investigations that are going on and the special counsel's investigations demonstrate that they're giving her good material to work with.
Why don't you just answer a question straightforwardly?
Why don't you give me some facts for the discussion?
Look, just answer the question. So you had Steve Cohen from Memphis just today said and filed it officially the president ought to be impeached. I'm not saying that Pelosi told him to say that. She probably is against it. But there's a movement, and there are a bunch of guys doing that, Brad Sherman among them. What do you think of that? Is that smart politics? Don't give me a stupid hack answer. Just give me a real answer. Is that a good idea or not?
I'm giving you facts, Tucker. You deal with it or not. The point simply is this. Because of the fact that Donald Trump Jr. and Jared Kushner and General Flynn and so many others keep changing their stories because of the indictments, there's real discussion here about what these investigations will lead to. Right now, the Democratic leadership's not advocating impeachment. And in fact, we have to let more facts come out.
You just had it filed today. Are you not going to say whether you think that's a good idea or not? I mean, you're making me nervous because I think that there's a good chance Democrats could take over the House in the next election. And if they're going to have people like you speaking for them and making their strategy, I'm actually really concerned. Why don't you just give me an adult answer and respond to the news today?
Facts, Tucker.
I'm not making it up. It just happened.
I know that it happened, Tucker. But the reality is the Democratic Party is not moving towards impeachment. Members of Congress are advocating it. And frankly, the fact that the Trump administration keeps getting caught in one lie after another gives good material for them to talk about.
He's driven you guys crazy. He's driven